I think I'm gonna go for a cooler toned look today. I've been wearing this, I wore this about 2 times this past week, so I have already primed my face. I used the Makeup Forever Step 1 little mini primer here. It's the smoothing primer, and I just barely put that on. This thing is going strong. I cut it open like 2 weeks ago or something, and I still have a ton of product in here, so I need to just start using it on a more daily basis. I'm also going to prep my lips for my lip product in a second. So I'm going to put on this item here. This is the By Terry Baume de Rose. This is a really nice lip product. The very first time that I used it, it almost felt like it left my lips feeling a little numb. It was weird, but you know, after I start using it a little bit more frequently, it doesn't do that anymore. But it's just a very pale, light pink shade. It's kind of like the Dior Creme de Rose, but this is super hydrating. It does have a very light kind of rose fragrance to it, but it's really hydrating. My lips are super dry today, so I kind of just slathered this on, a ton of it, to kind of soak in while I'm doing the rest of my makeup, and there is a ton of traffic in front of the window. I do apologize if that's distracting. As usual, I'm still using my Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. I just shook this up a few seconds ago, so should be ready to go. Oh, by the way, the By Terry Baume de Rose was sent to me through Octoly's website to try out and review on my channel. I do have a separate review on that, so I will link that down in the description box down there. And I'm also using this Real Techniques sponge again today, and this one was also sent to me from Octoly to try out. I really love the sponge. I've been so tempted to pick it up, and then when I finally saw it on the Octoly website, I was like, yes, I can finally try it out. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the actual texture of the sponge, but I really enjoy this sponge a lot more than my beauty blender. I've heard sometimes if you get a beauty blender that's in a 2-pack, they have a little bit of a different texture than the ones that are sold singly for $20. And when I bought mine, I got mine from Birchbox, and it did come in that duo pack. So maybe that's why, maybe that's the issue that I have with my beauty blender, but it just doesn't blend stuff out as smoothly and as evenly as this Real Techniques one. I'm also going in with my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NW15 for a little bit of concealing under the eyes. My dark circles are going crazy today. They are really pronounced for some reason. I'm sure it's just me not getting enough sleep. But I'll just dab a tiny bit of this under the eye area and just in the center of the face right here. And back in with the Real Techniques sponge. Then, just because I'm trying to use this one up before the end of the year, this is the Milk Makeup Highlighter Stick, just a little travel size, mini size of it. And I'm going to apply this to the high points of my face, probably just the cheekbones and down the center of the face and stuff. I'm just gonna run a little on my finger and dab it out. Under the brow. I have to run over to the vape shop before they close, and they close early on Sundays, so I'm gonna have to hustle through this quickly. Then I'm going to be setting underneath my eyes, and I'm gonna be using my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, just the little mini travel size. Again today, I also used my Real Techniques little angled highlighter brush just because I feel like it fits right in that spot underneath the eyes perfectly. So just gonna dab this on, and then whatever's left over on the brush, I just kind of sweep it down at the front part of the cheek right here. I feel like that just gives a pretty, you know, like a soft focus kind of finish. And it does brighten up just a touch. If I put lotion in and mix it in with my foundation, then it kind of needs to be set. But if I'm just using this on its own, it'll set fine because I do have dry skin, so I'm not setting my entire face today. So moving on to the bronzer products that I have kept in my bag this week. I'm probably going to be switching stuff out tomorrow, but let me give you a little swatch of my bronzer products. First off, I have my Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer, and this is so close to being finished. It's so thin in the pan in there, but that is the first swatch right there. It's pretty shimmery. I do feel like this is very similar to the NARS Laguna bronzer, but this one just has a touch more shimmer to it. And then this other one is my NYX Blush in Taupe. And I've mostly been using this one in these Get Ready With Me videos. As you can see there, that's the shade. But I feel like I haven't used the Tarte one for a little bit on camera, so I thought I would use that one today. This is another Real Techniques brush. This is the contour brush. I just feel like it does a really nice job. It gets right into the places where I want my bronzer. So I'm just gonna go at the back of the cheek and kind of just blend it up through. And then I take a little bit more, go in through the temple area. I'm not too careful with it because it is buildable, and so I just start with a little bit at a time. And then I just kind of sweep it around the rest of my face, the perimeter of my face. So I did end up repressing my Sephora blush that's in my Finish 4 by 4th of July challenge. This is it here after it's been repressed. I have used it about 2 times since I've repressed it, so it's looking really nice. There is a swatch of the Sephora blush in Rose Petal right there. And then I have kind of went back and forth between my blushes, and since I wanted to do a cool tone look today, I also had another blush, well, another 2 blushes in my collection because I like to do an ombre effect. So I have the Jordana blush in number 32 Rose Silk. I really love this blush, and I talk about it quite a bit on my channel. So I'm just taking my MAC, I think it's the 129 blush brush, the blush powder brush, and I put this at the back of my cheeks. I definitely feel like this is more of a neutral blush. You could wear it with warm or cool makeup, but I usually just wear this when I'm doing like a cooler tone look and I want something kind of neutral on the cheeks. I really love these, and these are like $2.50 if you can find them at Kmart or Walgreens. And then the blush that I want to put in the front just to kind of blend everything together is my little pan of Well Dressed from MAC. That is it right there. It's a very light, cool toned pink shade, but it does have a slight kind of sheen to it as well. I tried to build up the swatches a bit so that you could see. So this one right here is the Jordana blush, and then the one on the end is Well Dressed from MAC, and it does have that sheen. Hopefully you can pick up on that, but these two look really nice when they're mixed together, or you know, when you have that gradient effect on the cheek. So I'm going to take a little bit of Well Dressed, and I'm going to put it on this bigger multitask brush from Real Techniques. It was really hard to use this brush. I don't think this is the best blush brush, but it'll work. So I really feel if you are fair skin tone, if you have a fair skin tone, pick up Well Dressed from MAC. I really think that you would enjoy it a lot. My highlighter for this week, I have been using this one because I wanted something that would go with a neutral or a cool tone look because I kind of dabbled back and forth. This is Lightscapade from MAC. It's one of their mineralized skin finishes. This is super pretty, I think. You can see there. Isn't that just gorgeous? It looks really beautiful on the skin, and it always looks nice. I've never had a day where I've had a bad highlighter day from using this highlighter. It's kind of hard to see there, but I'm going to take a Real Techniques, what are these? The setting brushes, and I'm going to just pop some of this on the cheekbones and down the center of the face. Now let's work on the brows. So first I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Brow Wiz in medium brown and trying to even these guys out. When I dyed my hair 2 nights ago, I did tint my brows a little bit so they're just a touch darker, but they still need some work for sure. So I'm going to go in and kind of just pencil in the front a little bit with these. I'm just running the Goof Proof Brow Pencil in shade number 6 from Benefit. It's just like a little deluxe size sample that I got from them. But I just run this through the tail of my brows because this is a little bit darker in tone. And then I can move on to my brow gel. My brows are giving me a little bit of an issue today, and they're kind of like all over the place. I think it's because I did tint them when I was dyeing my hair, but that's okay. I'm also trying to let them grow in a little bit more too, so they're a little unruly today as well. So I go in with the Lancome Sourcils Styler. Love this stuff. This is in shade number 3, which is called Brun. They do have 3 shades of this, but it is a fantastic brow gel. This is extremely similar to the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel in Granite that I used to use, but this one has super fine teeth that are on the wand that grab a hold of my hairs and just paint over the hair specifically instead of getting brow gel all over around my face. Alright, my brows are super intense today, but I think once I get the rest of my makeup on, hopefully they'll even out. I might have to go back in and like tweak on them a little bit to make them look a little bit better, but for now I'm just going to move on. I have my MAC Fix Plus setting spray just to kind of meld all the powder products on my face together, and then I'll move on to my eyes. My foot is going numb, so I had to adjust my position here. So first off, just to make a smooth, one color base on my eyelids, I'm going in with the MAC Painterly Paint Pots. And this is pretty similar to my skin tone, so like I said, it just kind of blanks out any veining or discoloration on the eyelids. If you haven't tried one of those paint pots from MAC, I highly suggest them. If you have more yellow to your skin, you can get, what is the yellow one called? Soft Ochre, I think. So just to tight line at the outer corner of my upper lash line up against my lashes, I'm going to use the Clinique Quick Liner Intense for eyes. This one's in number 9, Intense Ebony, and like I said, I just run this at that little outer corner area. I feel like it just makes my eyes look a little bit bigger when I do this. Makes my lash line look like it's a little bit fuller and thicker too. Then I'm going to pull out this Maybelline Color Tattoo just for more of a color base to pick up some of the pink tones that I'm going to be using. This one is in the shade 125, Hibiscus Heartbreak. I do believe that this one was limited edition, but they do have some similar tones like this that they release all the time. I'm going to get a little bit on my finger here, and it's really beautiful. It almost has like a shift to it, like a duochrome shift, almost. But that is what it looks like there. This will bring out the purple tones, any gold tones, pink tones. It'll just make it a little bit more vibrant, and that's what I'm after. So I am going to run a little bit underneath the bottom lash line as well. I am going to take this kind of fluffy shader brush. I do have the Wet n Wild Single in Brulee. I'm just going to run this through the upper part of my crease a little bit just so it can act as kind of like a buffing shade for anything that goes a little too high up. I am taking my Urban Decay Feminine palette that is part of my Pen That palette. I've only been using this one this week, but I do have a second palette that I've kind of been mixing in with this one. So I'm going to take the lightest pink shade. It is called Bordello. That is a little swatch of it there. It's like a pinky purple almost. Looks kind of nice, but that is what I'm going to be putting on my lid at the moment. That is it there. Hopefully all the little glittery pieces will stay on the lid because these do have some fallout, and I usually have to build them up and apply them wet for them to really show up, but this pink base really does kind of adhere to that shadow really nicely. So then I'm going to pull out this guy. This is the MAC Nutcracker Sweet Cool Eye Compact. It has the 9 eyeshadows. This came out 2016 holiday collection from MAC. So these shadows right here, I'm going to mix together this matte one and this matte one. So these two right here, and I'm going to toss them into my crease. I'm going to be using this Real Techniques brush here. This is one of those bold metal like really nice ones. They're really weighted and they won't roll off your counter because it's almost like a squared off design to the brush handle. So I really like these. These are super nice, very high quality. So I'm just dabbing in between, back and forth between those two matte shadows, and I'm going to run this into the crease with this lovely brush. Kind of going for like that blown out, kind of smoky effect on the outside of the eyes. I mean, this is not going to be a very subtle look for me. Now that that's down, I'm going to go into that super bright purple. It's more of like a pink purple. It's like a warm tone purple almost. It's very weird. It's a very odd shade, but I'm going to go in with the same brush that I put Bordello on the lids with. I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit so I'm not picking up that shadow and depositing any of those little sparkly bits when I put this one down, because this one is matte too. And I'm actually going to put this on the outer part of my lid. Like that. Now it's gonna look crazy till I get everything finished with this eye look, but bring a little down underneath the eye as well. And now I'm just taking that Real Techniques brush and just going through the crease. If I got any of that bright purple through the crease, I'm just going to try and blend it out a little bit. Yeah, I think that one was sent to me through the Octoly website. Then I'm going to take this e.l.f. glitter glue and just put a tiny little dab on the back of my hand here and put that at the inner corner of my eyes. So I'm literally taking the smallest amount possible, just dabbing that at that inner corner through here. And on the lid, tiny bit on the bottom lash line, but mostly on the lid. Then we're gonna go in for the fun part. So this is the Bodyography Glitter Pigment. This one's in the shade Sparkler. This is so pretty and it's so intense too. So that is what it looks like in the container. It is highly reflective, highly sparkly. This definitely reminds me of the Chanel Illusion d'Ombres. So that is what I'm going to be putting at the inner corner of my eyes with this purple. And you wouldn't think that these two go together, but I wore it before. I think it looks fun. I think it looks pretty together. So I've never put that Bordello shade down first with it, but I don't think it messes with the eye look at all. I think it still looks really pretty with it. Just gonna kind of layer up this glitter a tiny bit. I know some people have different experiences with these glitters depending on the shade. I really feel like it's, the shade is a major part of it. So I think Sparkler is a beautiful color. I kind of went a little crazy underneath this eye over here. Let me see if I can blend that out a little bit. I don't get any fallout with this pigment throughout the day. Like I said, I think the texture on some of the other shades is a little bit different. And I think if you have fallout from this product, it's probably based off of the shade and like the little glittery pigments that are inside of here. But it has the same little device like the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. You just put that little guy in there and squish it down and then put the cap back on. I think the packaging on this even looks super high-end too. I think it's a pretty product. I'm really happy to have this one. And again, this one was also sent to me through that Octoly website, but I really do love this little glittery pigment. Doesn't it look just super gorgeous on the eyes? And I don't even like gold, and I really love this one. I'm gonna put a little of my Rimmel Scandalized Waterproof Kohl Liner in the waterline. So I have my MAC Black Track Fluid Line. I'm gonna use this little Sephora pointed liner brush. It's number 92, and I'm gonna apply this really fast as I can, so I can get out of here. I might have to come back and show you, what else I'm doing for my eyes, but I'm gonna apply this super quickly. I think I will take this lightest shade right there and just dab it right at the inner corners of my eyes because it's super sparkly. It has a ton of little sparkly shimmers in it, so just dab that right there to brighten up that inner corner just a tiny bit. I know this palette kind of got a lot of flack, but I really enjoy this palette, honestly. I think it has a ton of shades in here that I personally use, so I think the colors perform beautifully. Yeah, are the singles that you can purchase from MAC 1,000 times better and more convenient? Yeah, but I absolutely love this little palette here. Anyway, this is what I was wearing earlier this week, and I think it's great. They did have it on clearance on the MAC website for quite a while. I'm not sure if it's still there, but if it is, I personally recommend it if you like cooler tone shadows and you want to add to your MAC eyeshadow collection. I need to curl my lashes and put on some mascara. I have my Shiseido eyelash curler that I'm going to be using. So I had to run over to the vape shop super fast, but I'm going in with my Benefit, their Real Tinted Eyelash Primer just on the bottom lashes. I feel like it just coats them enough that they make my bottom lashes look just a touch longer. And then really quickly before that primer has a chance to dry, I'm going to go in with the Rimmel Lash Accelerator Endless. This is a fiber mascara supposedly. I think this one is in 001 Black. I got this one out of a Walmart, like the beauty box from Walmart, the seasonal one. So it just has a really teeny little spiky wand and it does grab a hold of those bottom lashes really nicely. So before that primer dries, I'm just going to put a light coat of this on. I was gonna put on some false lashes today, but I'm gonna go out and weed in the yard, so I don't really see the point in having false lashes for that. Some people might. I mean, I was planning on it earlier, but... For my upper lashes, this is my all-time favorite mascara. They've kind of stopped selling it at certain locations like Sephora and Birchbox, but it is still available on the Laura Mercier website. This is the Full Blown Volume Supreme Lash Building Mascara in the shade Supreme Black. I love this stuff. I've dumped some of my Inglot Duraline in here to kind of revive it a little bit, so I don't have to toss it out, but I just think it looks lovely on the lashes. And I'm not ready to buy another tube of this since it is like 25 bucks for a tube of this mascara. I like the formula of this stuff and I feel like it gets better the longer that you have it open too. It's really good at first, but it gets even better the longer you have it open. I let it dry for a little bit and then I move on to the other eye, and then I'll go in for a second coat. Now that that's all done, I should have put my setting spray on before I did my mascara. I just completely spaced it, but I'm going to be using the Kate Somerville Uncomplicated SPF stuff. I love this so much, especially because I just did a full face of makeup and I'm gonna be out in the yard weeding here in a little bit tonight, and I want to protect my face with the SPF that's in this. This has SPF 50. All the other setting sprays that I've tried that have SPF in them, they really do honestly feel like there's this film on my face and it feels really gross. This one actually sets my makeup. It looks nice. I do have dry skin though. I can't tell you if this would actually perform as well as it performs on my dry skin if you have oily skin or combination skin or anything, but for me, if you have normal or dry skin, this stuff is beautiful. It does have hyaluronic acid in it, so it's supposed to give like this soft focus finish to your skin, but I don't know. We will spray this on here in just a second. Before I spray my setting spray, I did get a little dab of my mascara on my eyelid, so I'm just gonna go right back in with the... I'm gonna go back in with this Bodyography glitter pigment and just dab it right at that inner corner where I got a little carried away with my mascara. Alright, I think that looks a little bit better. Isn't that just beautiful? But I think the high contrast between that really bright kind of pinky purple tone and that gold the little glimmery pieces in the gold. It just looks super gorgeous. So I'm spraying the Kate Somerville SPF. I did go kind of overboard with this because I am going out and I am going to be out in that sun. But that stuff is so gorgeous. It does have a super strong fragrance though, so when you do spray it, either open a window or just be aware that there is that intense fragrance, and it's probably not going to feel very good at the back of your throat. For lip products, this past week I had more like neutral cool tones while still trying to work on some items that are in my project, the Finish 4 by 4th of July. So for lipsticks, I had this one here that is one of the Color Whisper line, the Color Whisper line from Maybelline. This one is in 25 Lust for Blush. This is just a really beautiful kind of like light pinky color right there, and that is a swatch of it right there. Super sheer, it does have a nice shine to it. And then the lipstick that I'm probably going to be tossing on right now, just to kind of balance out with the eye look and everything, is a matte liquid lipstick. That is a swatch of it there. It's one of the Stila Stale Day liquid lipsticks. This one's in Perla. So it's just a touch lighter than Patina. Patina always dries super dark on me. Even though it's a beautiful color in the container, it just dries very dark on me. So Perla is actually really nice, and it's very light. So I'm gonna just make sure that I don't have a ton of that Baume de Rose still left on my lips. This applicator always tickles my lip for some reason. And this is Perla on the lips. As you can see, it's like a pinky mauve-y sort of tone. It's really pretty. I'll probably have to go back in and like touch up around the edge a little bit after it dries down a little bit more. And then I'm trying to finish off the last little bit that's left in my Buxom full-bodied lip gloss. This one is in Dolly. This one is also in one of my projects, the Finish 4 by 4th of July. And these glosses are actually quite opaque, the full-bodied ones. You can wear them on their own, or you can just pair them over a lipstick. I wore this mixed with the Maybelline Color Whisper lipstick a lot this past week, but you could wear it over the top of the liquid lipstick too if you wanted to give it just a little bit more movement. Well, that is the Buxom Full Bodied Gloss in Dolly right there. And then finally I have my perfume, and I'm still working on this one, no surprise. It's my XOXO Mi Amore perfume from the Finish 4 by 4th of July challenge. So that is everything that I wore this past week and what I'm wearing today as well. Today's Sunday, so hopefully I'm gonna cross my fingers. If I get finished weeding and everything, then I can come back in and edit this and hopefully get this up on today, on Sunday. Anyway, I think that is everything that I wanted to show you guys that was in my bag for this week. So I do appreciate you watching. I should have another one of these up next week sometime. I don't really have a set schedule of when I film these. It's just sometime throughout the week. I just want to show you what I have in my makeup bag. So I do appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!